Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, and we're here with another Tuesday morning cup of coffee with your leadership strategist, Mary May. Before you make any decision, make sure you have your cup of coffee or tea and come join us on Tuesday mornings where we do all things on leveling up your career. Um, so that we can give you leadership nuggets and hopefully give you a portion of the GPS to navigate. And that GPS is having your goals with clarity and specificity, positioning and planning yourself so that you can have the strategy that'll help you navigate and elevate to that next level, whatever that next level may be. We I work with individuals who are high thinkers, high achievers, and striving to, level up their career in some particular ways. Some tangible things could be to, you know, have that promotion, not to be overlooked, not to be invisible in the workspace, and people being aware of the skills in which you have. And so sometimes we're not sure what exactly is the roadblock or the blind spot that's causing us to not be visible in that space or in the spaces that we choose to thrive and live in successfully. So my goal is to ensure that you have those tools and that you good morning and that in engaging those tools that you are seeking, that you have the strategy for implementation, that you have the strategy for leveling up in your success, that you have your own personalized toolkit and blueprint that's going to help you get to whatever that next leveling of your career may be, because it looks different for everyone. However, we do have footprints. So on Tuesdays, good morning, Roxanne. Good morning, Miss Myra. I come in and share like maybe 15, 20, sometimes 25 minutes of a nugget with your engagement, asking questions, interacting, getting the nuggets and filling your cup the way that you need, and being able to successfully start your day again with that cup of coffee or tea, whatever your vice is that you choose to enjoy, and being able to add something different or have a different perspective on why are you at a detour or a roadblock in what it is that you seek to desire and moving forward and moving that needle. So we're going to jump right on into it. Today's conversation is about what is the secret sauce to discipline? What is your secret sauce to discipline? And so when thinking about individuals who I have been working with over the past couple days, thinking about what it is that they're challenged with or stuff like that, I was like, okay, let me pour into my Tuesday crew and kind of give them some of this secret sauce, because I figured it into three different steps that the discipline gets impacted or interrupted by a variety of different things, but I've narrowed it down to three simple steps. So being here live with me, I thank you for joining me live. If you are catching this on the replay or you find that this could be helpful to someone else, please feel free to share and provide it for them. Anyone who wants to find out more about what it is that and how it is that I function and work with individuals, I have a free gift available for you at workwithmarymay.com, where you can get jump started and figure out what are those roadblocks that are actually blocking you. So engagement is definitely welcome, and good morning to those who have entered into these internet streets and space to join the conversation. So when you think about change and you think about the things that you want to, the transformation that you're looking for in your life, you begin to look at how is my purpose reshaped, or how can I reframe what I'm obsessed about, or what it is that I would love to do to implement life in a different capacity. The gift is we see the change, we see the transformation that we want. The challenge is that so many obstacles that come into play, and it's I often refer to a 2 millimeter shift. That's about that big, right? It's about that big on a ruler. 2 millimeter shift on how it is that you listen to what your heart, your mind, and your spirit, as well as utilizing your gifts, are pouring into you. And then also understanding your purpose that you have on placing a footprint for those of whom you serve, and then being totally obsessed with your growth. Totally obsessed with your growth. Because if you are obsessed with your growth, then you would think that discipline comes naturally or comes side by side. But there's always some particular good morning, shalom. There's always some particular aspect that tends to get in the way. Remember, I said I had 3 points. So the first point is, what is your commitment? What is your commitment to that of which you choose as discipline, or that you want to be disciplined towards? If it is strategizing in your career, if it is having a successful relationship with others, if it is working out and you're exercising or eating different, what are you committed to? When you measure and understand what your commitment is, you begin to function in integrity, because not being committed or not being consistent impacts how are you living the life of integrity, and how much is your stick to itness, your grit is very clear for you, that unapologetically you are going to complete a certain set of skills, a certain set of things with each interaction that you have with someone, or in each conversation. Because remember, every conversation is an interview, and you never know the impact and influence that you have on building someone up. But if your commitment is not clear with simplistic steps that have the clarity that's going to enforce you or inform you on how you're going to remain disciplined, then your consistency is definitely going to be impacted and not consistent. I mean, like, why would it be consistent? So you got to think about, what is it that you're committed to? So if you have something that you're committed to, drop that in the chat. What are you committed to that you tend to have a roadblock or something that gets in the way of your success in implementing stuff on a consistent basis? So what are some of those things that, if you were to roll out of the bed and somebody asked you a question that you wanted to get done for the day, but for some reason every single day you end up running into some reason why it's not happening to the capacity or in the way in which you would like it to be? So when you think about the secret sauce to your discipline, and you think about commitment being that first key element, are you truly committed to the transformation that you want to see for yourself? Because if you're truly committed, those roadblocks and detours don't have that much influence to take you off of the lane of genius that you're stepping into, and that you're stepping above an implementation. So when you think about that, you have to remain committed and focused, and making sure that in that focus, one of the hashtags that I use is framing the daily divorce of self. So the daily divorce of self is that negative talk that doubts, those non-committal things, those things that tell you, okay, well, maybe we could do something else. Something else is going to be more beneficial to you. And you have proven and experienced time and time again that commitment somehow gets put back up on the shelf. And you're like, well, I really want to do this, but I don't know, either I don't feel like it today, or it's a challenge that's impacting me. Your focus and your commitment is your self-talk. You have to motivate yourself and really know that what your goal is. If your goal is not clear, then your steps to implementation is not going to be clear. If your steps to implementation are not clear, then you're not going to be committed to see it through. And that's that discipline, like putting those road map puzzle pieces into play, that when you are focused and you have the clarity and you can have the strategy to know what that commitment is, you're automatically focused. And when that daily divorce of self conversation, of self-doubt, changing your mind, an outside influence saying, okay, let's not, we don't have to do this, you could do something different, then you allow that energy to come in and actually detour where it is that you are intending to be. And as a leader and a big thinker, those things are often very challenging in essence for how it is that you choose to grow. So what are you committed to? What commitment and what is it that challenges you to reset the table? How it is that you rethink the obvious? And it's like rethinking the obvious or resetting your table is sometimes outside influencers can be beneficial. But most of the times, people have not been given the vision. They have not been given the gift. They have not been given the skill set to the exact footprint that you have. And so the things that you may describe when you're resetting your table and resetting your vision, they are unable to see. So then therefore, they definitely feed in and fuel in to that daily divorce of self conversation because they benefit from you staying at the level that you currently are, and you're attempting to elevate and move forward because leveling up your life is extremely important. So when you think about the reset, you have to also think about who is around you and what is it that you're activating. So when you're activating certain things, the second key element would be trust. So we talked about commitment. The second element is trust. Who and what are you trusting more than you? Do you trust your vision? Do you trust yourself to be the most optimal leader, the most optimal individual in this space that you want to commit to? Or are you bouncing ideas around with a whole bunch of different people? As you bounce around multiple ideas, that's your own self implementing a distraction, and it's also watering down your thoughts and your own space of creativity. You have to trust yourself and know that if the idea has been planted and you are committed and you have engineered and created a very clear and concise goal with clarity, conviction that is taking you on a path that you want. If the goal is really simplistic and you can see bite-sized steps that's going to get you from the current reality that you live to your transformation that you desire, then you have identified that you trust yourself. You have identified that this is truly what you value and what it is that you are committed to seeing the change. But if your change that you want is so fearful to you, then if you're not trusting what it is that you have put in place, then the vision you must not trust how the vision was poured into you. You must not trust how you have been building the skills to be the effective leader, individual, and committed person with integrity in everything that you do. So once you don't trust yourself and you feel that you have to get confirmation and conviction from outside voices, you alter your ability to remain disciplined into that of which is important to you. And so if it's not your own self trusting yourself and your own self having the ability to recognize what it is that you want to trust, what it is that you want to implement, again, discipline comes with the first key was commitment. The second one is trust. So recognizing that you can't learn how to prosper, how to elevate yourself if you can't unlearn the ideas that hold you back. So if you're striving to position yourself for a promotion, for a leveling up, for pulling back the curtain of all of the things that don't serve you, if you're choosing to still hide behind the curtain, then you're choosing to not learn the ways in which you can prosper, the ways in which you can elevate so that you can unlearn the ideas that hold you back. I'm going to get a sip of coffee on that one. What y'all think about that? Can't unlearn the things that don't help you prosper. You can't unlearn the ideas that hold you back. Because what has happened in life or career at this particular point, when you are making a decision to make that effective transformation, something has been experienced in your life or in your career that causes you um, to pause. It causes you to create fear and allow fear to be a source of how it is that you function. And again, when you are activating and talking to others and getting their feedback, that as soon as you're getting their feedback, if you're not sure that they're on the same playing field of your ambition level of higher, then you're second guessing and doubting the trust that you have that whatever goal that you have created, those simplistic steps, that you are functioning in your own personalized footprint of integrity, that your thinking process has been detoured. So it's like you have to unlock the permission so that you can snatch yourself, so that you can up level yourself and your leadership to that whatever that next level is, without being distracted by second guessing the strategy because you learned something when you implemented it one time that you didn't know about yourself. That's not second guessing. That's trial and error that you didn't allow fear to paralyze you to move forward. Oftentimes, once we allow fear to step into the conversation, we become paralyzed. We pull that curtain to cover us, and we don't allow ourselves to be able to move forward in the growth that we are optimizing in, or that we strive to level up in. And so because fear is the driving force, you can't have trust and fear in the same conversation. They don't work together. You can't have commitment and fear in the same conversation. They are opposites attract. As soon as fear is in there, anxiety is in there, overthinking is in there, the doubt, the am I capable, all of these different ways. So it's like you have to be able to position yourself to strategize what these things are so that you're recognizing that life has happened, career changes have happened, relationships in different spaces have happened, and you don't have to remain stuck. Like you don't have to allow those things to continue to drive you, because you may be at a different address than which infraction or emotional fracture or you being overlooked happened, yet you're reactivating situations and holding new people accountable for old situations. So one of the questions that I see in the chat is, can you learn a new way prior to recognizing that something specific is holding you back? You definitely can learn in the process of positioning yourself to learn what that new thing is. It's going to help you recognize that the way that you are doing things is not serving you. So it may be your body is telling you by symptoms of a headache, stomach ache, whatever. Like your body usually communicates with you and lets you know, gives you an alert that something is not right. So if you are choosing to be committed to your focus and trust your intuition of what your vision is, then that opens you to the opportunity to say, okay, reveal to me what's holding me back, but give me permission and give me the skill set and the confidence and the conviction to move forward. That is sometimes when you need that side by side support, because the blinders have been on so heavy and so thick for you as you have navigated in these leadership streets, that your ability to discern what's holding you back and what's allowing you to move forward becomes very gray and shady, and you're unable to see that. So if your blinders are thick, that would be a time to activate what supports do you need side by side with you to help you get clear on your goals and get clear on how it is that you're going to plan and position yourself moving forward. So the second part to that question was, or is it, must you acknowledge it first like an addiction? So it all depends on what the actual thing that's holding you back is. So sometimes if it is so sabotaging, if you're doing behaviors and things that's so sabotaging to your growth, then yes, we could put it into a framework of the addictions model that most people kind of follow, that says, okay, let's extinguish and stop the addictive behavior. and replace it with something. But the thing about behavior has a two-part process. Our behavior either communicates to get something, so to get something that's going to be of value to us, or to avoid something. So when you function in something being holding you back, or it's in an addictive standpoint, in a negative addictive standpoint, that is something that has grounded you because life has happened and you have not processed and peeled back those layers to be able to trust yourself, to be committed to move forward. Because the discipline of sticking to whatever it is that you need to stay committed to often gets impacted or interrupted by a variety of different things. So the next, I thought it was a question, but it's a comment. Sometimes we are fearful of succeeding and we allow that doubt distraction to get us stuck. Absolutely tenfold. When we see and when we recognize what has been poured into our cup, be it our cup of coffee or our cup as far as our vision and how it is that we can grow leading forward, we're like, no, they didn't put that in my cup. Like, that wasn't for me. That was for somebody else. I just happened to be sitting at the table when that person, when I had that feeling that I was capable and I was confident and I was able to move forward. Why would you receive it in your energy space if it wasn't for you? It's for you when you move out of that daily divorce of self and being able to level up. So we get stuck on the distraction because we're like, no, this can't be possible. This can't happen. You working out and you losing weight and you eating right and you doing all type of stuff and you like, oh no, I can't do this. I gotta go get some pizza, or I can't go work out. I need to make up a reason. Those are the same ways that we unchange and undo the success that we have implemented with a strategy. We have chosen to make that change and that transformation. But as soon as maybe it's too much attention to that area or too much attention to how the team comes to you as you being a successful leader, then you're like, okay, wait, I don't like all this attention, or I don't like keep getting all these special projects or something like that. So let me fall back, or I'm on team too much. When the reality is you really should say, okay, how can I level up? What can I learn from every life experience? And how can I not allow a life experience put me into survival mode where I become frozen and stuck? So you have to really think about that in a generalized manner. So someone wrote, I'm committed to growing my online marketing business. The challenge is continuing to fill my quote unquote bean jar by way of social interactions, sharing, perspective building, relationships, and shaking my bean jar so that my biggest nut can rise to the top, and collectively working with my team. And I would venture to say that whatever starts and stops you, whatever like you get started with, you try to unlock that success, whatever like get you to start and then you stop, is something that is keeping you silent. It's something that you have experienced in life that has not granted you permission. And because you feel like the permission is not yours, you begin to navigate into these unwanted territories. So whatever it is that you desire always seems impossible until it's done. It always seems impossible until it's done. So if you're not activating what that next thing is, then you're not, paying attention to how it is that you are in the mirror, the one that's putting yourself on pause. You are the one that's stopping your ability to level up. So let's get to this last and third secret sauce to your discipline. So the question I want to ask you in regards to, before I tell you what this last thing is in your secret sauce to the I was about to say it, into your discipline, is how do you use your time? Do you come to conversations like this? Do you go to webinars? Do you find yourself in the meeting, about the meeting, taking notes and all, extra notes over and over again, and then doing them in different colors? And then when you get back to your office, what are you doing with that? When you get back to your quiet space, what are you doing with that? Are you getting caught and drawn into another webinar and taking more notes, and then, just allowing all of these notebooks, different color codes, just sitting and piling up? Or are you in the third part of the secret sauce to your execution, to your discipline, which is execution? I keep getting ready to say it. Execution. If you are taking notes, you're attending the meeting about the meeting, you're scrolling social media, and you're like, oh, let me follow this dangling carrot and go listen to this conversation. Oh my God, that was a great conversation. I got so many nuggets. You write it down, you put it off to the side. Then you're like, okay, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to handle that. Then I'm going to go do something else. And you find that you're never executing what it is that you wrote in those beautiful color codes, in those stack of notebooks, in those things that you had intentions on elevating up. Last week, we talked about follow through and your ability to be able to set a goal and see it from the beginning to the next phase of what it is that you need to do. If you are not following through, and say you are having conversations with, individuals, because every conversation is possibly an interview. You never know. If your follow through is not executing the ideas, the trust, the vision, the commitment, the grit, the integrity, all of those different things, then those of which who have the power of the pen, if it's not you as an entrepreneur, are choosing to stay at the level that you are. And you're choosing to not elevate yourself with implementation. If you're not implementing the strategy, then you're not realizing that your discipline is inconsistent. And if your discipline is inconsistent with the way and the scope and the lane of genius that I'm engaged with you on, then how are you going to level up if I give you this next opportunity, or if you are granted that next opportunity? So if you have notes, if you have attended what you thought was the next thing that was going to help you level up, go back to those notes, implement one or two things from those conversations. And if you have the space and the bandwidth to recognize how it is that you can implement them, execute, and be able to, level up, challenge yourself to trust what you know is what you know, be committed to the goal in which and what you have, then all of these things put together in a nice package is that discipline and that secret sauce and that secret weapon to your why. A few weeks back, we talked about knowing what your why is. So in understanding your why, a lot of times we say our why is living in supporting other people, like our children, our spouse, or, legacies that we choose to live. And I'm not suggesting that that is not the case. However, when those people choose to do something different than what you have put into your secret sauce, then you can sometimes feel that the curtain has been pulled back to cover you and that you are now functioning in silence. So when you choose to understand the discipline of the secret sauce, commitment that has consistency, the trust of your vision, and the execution part, the key element of not being stuck is recognizing that you are distracting yourself by the lack of your commitment to moving forward. And so oftentimes where that vision and resetting the table for other high achievers who are big thinkers like you, the biggest life hack or how people figure these things out is that they are go-getters. They realize that they're giants in their space and their lanes of genius. Why have you not chosen to do the same thing for yourself? What keeps you at a block to say, okay, well, maybe this is not the time for me to invest or to do things or to feel the way that I should feel? But you are a go-getter. You are a high achiever. You think big. Most of the times, the ideas that you have, if you're trusting your own vision, is going to scare those around you because their vision is not necessarily where your vision is. And so if they can't see the life hack, it's not for them to see. Remember, negotiating and getting those outside ideas tends to water down our genius. So if you're watering down your genius, then you're watering down your ability and your potential to level up. What are you fearful of? Fear and trust can't be in the same conversation. So when you think about those names that are in your household that you tend to follow, you tend to jump on every time you get the notification that they're going live. The way that most of those people have become successful is their secret weapon is that they have engaged in some kind of strategy setting, strategy reset, some vision and purpose alignment and things that they want to do. Sometimes that could look like coaching, but the athletes, educators, CEOs, entrepreneurs, corporate leaders, you, whatever it is that you stand in this space, the only way to have that discipline, the only way to be committed and have the trust in your own vision and to be able to implement with execution unapologetically to remain disciplined is to choose you, is to choose you and to be ready to activate what is your next level. So I gave you 3 steps, 3 strategies of how you're disciplined, the secret sauce to discipline, the secret sauce to you leveling up your career, the secret sauce to you being a high achiever. Um, are you ready to grow and stop being passed over and overlooked? Well paid, you may already be at the well paid. So well paid may not be your outcome, but being promoted and leveling up your ability to work with yourself and work in a space that you choose to excel in sometimes takes that additional work. So if you are interested in learning more, definitely feel free to reach out to me, grab some time on my calendar. As a leadership strategist, it does involve some coaching, but it definitely involves us being side by side and working together, creating that strategy with a clear GPS plan so that you can activate what that transformation is and be unapologetic around your commitment, your trust, and your execution so that you can elevate. So I look forward to your feedback. If there's any questions or comments or thoughts that you have, please feel free to share them at this time. If you choose to reach out to me at a different time, that is good as well. But I want to, while the questions, I know it's sometimes a delay, want to thank those who have joined me here live or on the replay with their cup of coffee or tea for Leadership Nuggets, and myself, Mary May. If you want to go ahead and jump on my schedule and get this free breakthrough, at least a strategy session so that you can get clear on what the next step is for you. The link is right here on the screen where you have direct access and direct connection to my calendar. But then also remember at workwithmarymay.com, there is another case study and support to you that can help you understand how it is that I can work with you side by side and help you level up in the way that you would like to. So definitely commitment, trust, and execution. Yes. You ready to transform? Then elevate. Transform one step at a time. I always say one conversation at a time. But remember that daily divorce of self is usually the game changer in helping or blocking the ability of how it is that you are able to level up and move forward. So thank you for joining me live. Thank you for those again on the replay. And if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. You all have a successful day. And remember, any times that your discipline is getting altered or distracted or impacted, reset the vision, reset your positioning in that space, in around those people and in that conversation, and begin to reassess your commitment. Is this the right space that you should be in? Trust your vision and begin to execute accordingly. So you all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in these internet streets throughout the week, but definitely on Tuesday mornings with our cup of coffee or tea and the leadership nuggets that come together. So awesome. Have a wonderful and successful day. I'll talk to you all soon.